Well, Jerry Butler once again, and guess who I have here now at the Galactic Convention? None other than Ann Eller, published author, who is going to explain to us about her ties and why she is here. And look, let me just say this. Her book is hot off the press. You talking about drop it like it's hot. Okay, only 2 days ago, her book just came out. Now, let me ask you something, Ann. What is the name of your book, first and foremost?
It's Dragon in the Sky.
Like dragon, like the dragons?
Like the dragon, prophecy from the stars.
Now, you know, I have interviewed a ton of artists and authors, and each time when they have to name a record or a book, there is a meaning for that. So I know you didn't just grab this title out of this clear blue sky. How did you come up with this title?
I was given 5 symbols in Wyoming when I had my first ET experience. And the first symbol was the dragon in the sky, flipping his tail back and forth. After I did a lot of research, I realized that the dragon in the sky that they were showing me is actually Planet X, Nibiru.
What's the name of it?
Planet X, Nibiru.
Nibiru. Okay, is Nibiru something that we here on Earth cannot find, or is this a star in a galaxy, or what?
No, it's a planet.
Okay, is it a planet that we can find?
Well, yes, and soon you're going to be able to, everybody on the planet will be able to see it.
Is this the message that was given to you?
Yes, absolutely.
You heard it first right here on the Jerry Butler Show. So we are now giving you the information about a planet that right now no one knows of, but just give it a little time and you'll be able to reflect right back to this informational video to say, yes, the story was broken right here first. Now, you said with your first contact with ET, is that correct?
Yes.
Could you please tell me about it?
Well, maybe I should start back just a little bit further.
Sure.
To tell you that I worked as Dr. J. Allen Hynek's assistant.
Now, who is that?
Dr. J. Allen Hynek is the father of UFOlogy.
Really?
He was the one, the astronomer, that the Air Force hired to debunk all of the sightings way back in the late 40s.
And when you said debunk, that means to show that it had no credence.
Right. And since he was an astronomer, he could say, well, that was Venus chasing the moon, or that was swamp gas, or that was a hot air balloon, or something. The Air Force wanted these stories of UFO sightings to just go away.
Go away.
They didn't want anybody to believe in them at all.
And what happened from there? He got convinced, or was he a believer at first, or he was a...
he absolutely did not believe.
So it wasn't like he had a hidden agenda?
No. No, he was close to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base because he was...
Isn't that in Ohio or something?
Yes, it's in Ohio.
Right.
And he was working at Ohio State University in the astronomy department. So he was close to them, and they just sort of grabbed him and said, hey, wouldn't you like to do this? So for 20-some years, he did that for the Air Force. And then he got tired of debunking and making life miserable for all these credible people that were having these experiences. So he left and went into his own UFO research. I came on board when he brought the research out to Scottsdale, Arizona. And so the first part of the book is about my experience with Dr. Hynek and what I learned from the files of 20 years of UFO research. And then he sent me to the University of Wyoming to Dr. Leo Sprinkle,
who I've also interviewed here as well.
And each year he had a UFO conference at Wyoming University. So I went there, and that's when this whole thing unfolded for me as far as the ETs.
Do you feel you've ever been abducted?
No, I don't feel I've ever been abducted. I've been on board ship many times.
Really?
But I've never been abducted.
Wait a minute, but you've been on board the ship?
Yes.
So how, well, explain that now, because I thought everybody that got on board the ship was more or less taken on board the ship. How did yours come about?
Yes. Well, usually someone would come to get me. One of the aliens or one of the small ships would come to get me.
And what would they say Want to go for a ride, young lady?
I was usually expecting them. And
Because it would speak to you.
It was in the dream state.
Okay.
It all started in the dream state. And I had 4 years of constant UFO dreams and alien dreams. And that's when I wrote to Dr. Hynek, because every book I picked up had his name in it. And I thought, well, if anybody knows what this is all about, it's got to be Dr. Hynek. So I sent him a letter asking him to explain it. I didn't hear from him for 9 months. 9 months later, he said, I just found your letter underneath my desk. And he was very interested in the dreams, and he said they were happening worldwide.
Okay.
He had a colleague that was studying these dreams in Switzerland. So he said, can you send me a log of them? And I did. Make a long story short, I didn't hear from him again. 5 years later, I opened up the Phoenix, or the Arizona Republic, and there was a headline that Dr. J. Allen Hynek was bringing his UFO research to Scottsdale, Arizona, literally in my backyard.
Yes.
And I thought, well, this is too much. I've got to be involved. So I went over to the center and I volunteered my time. And about 3 weeks later, he asked me to come and be his assistant in his office.
Wow.
So then we had 6 months. This was during the last year of his life.
Last year of what?
The last year of his life.
Okay.
And that's
Wow.
kind of an interesting story in itself.
Well, give me a little bit of that.
Well, he was born the year of Halley's Comet.
Okay.
And he knew that when Halley's Comet came around again, it would take him out. And exactly 76 years later, it came around in 1986, and he died.
How did he have this knowledge of knowing that it would take him out?
It's just something he always knew. Just internally, he knew it.
And on that date? Or in that
no,
year?
it wasn't exactly the date, but it was that year.
Wow. Now, where can your book be found? Do you have a website?
I do have a website.
Do you know what it is by heart? Or do you want to look at your card?
Well, it's AnnEller.com.
Ann Eller, spell it ANNELLER.com.
Correct.
That's where your book can be found.
Actually, there's a new website that's getting created at the present time, but they can go on and get my biography there. And a couple of links there to interviews that have been done.
Okay, all right, such is what I want to do with you as well. And also help you grow your presence with others as well, too, because, and is there anything you'd like to say, anything else you'd like to share with the listeners and the viewers?
Yes, I would like to tell them a little bit of the prophecy.
Okay.
We're in a very critical time right now. The shift is going to happen, and it's happening with Planet X. Planet X is what is coming. It comes cyclically every 3,600 years, and it causes great havoc on the planet when it goes by. There's going to be a shift, and a great many of the population of the planet are going to go into spirit. What we need to do, the most important thing we need to do is go within, get right with our own